Today on Real Life Talk podcast, we're going to be talking about socialism. Hey, regarding this upcoming election and all of the talk about socialism, have you noticed that there's a love affair with socialism for two types of people? Number one, the young people. The young people think that socialism's cool. Stop. Number one, the only reason why they think it's cool is because their liberal professors have told them that socialism is cool. They never would have even known about socialism if they hadn't gone to college or university, because they would have been learning in some other areas. They're learning about socialism because you've got professors that are raking in ridiculous amounts of annual income and pay that can't lose their jobs. They're, as what my pilot instructor told me, about like the man in the control tower. He's fat, dumb, and happy. In other words, his world is not changing because he's the one that's in the control tower. I'm the one up in the sky needing the help of this controller to bring me down on the ground. A professor can pontificate all day long about the virtues of socialism, but he cannot point out to you one moment in history where it's worked. Oh, I already heard you though. You are telling me, oh, that's because it's never been done right. I want you to think about the arrogance of that thought. That all of a sudden, that we have a generation of people who believe somehow divinely that socialism never worked before because the right people were not in control. But we've got the right people now. Don't you understand? That's part of the opiate. That's part of the drug of getting you duped into embracing socialism. It's not going to work. It's never worked. It's anti-culture. It's anti-freedom, anti-liberty, anti-God. In fact, why do you think socialistic nations are anti-God? Because God is the one that teaches individuality. So a socialist comes along and says, I don't believe in God, or they'll lie to you and say they believe in God. Mark my words. But they themselves set themselves up to be the God in your life. They'll dole out to you what they want you to have. Another thing that they'll do is they'll take the money from the rich and redistribute that to the poor to make all people common. Do you know how long that lasts? That lasts for about one generation, maybe less. Until you run out of the rich people's money, okay? Socialism appears to work. But the fact of the matter is, if you've ever had a job, that has hope, that has promise, that has opportunity, I venture to say that you worked for somebody who was not poor. I have never worked for a poor man and succeeded. I've worked for a successful man and succeeded. I wanted to work at a company that was going somewhere. Listen, socialism is a joke. And the sad thing is to see the young people like lemmings not thinking and playing it all the way out. Who's going to pay for Bernie Sanders' universal health care? Who's going to pay for the 47 billion, it might as well be trillion, it doesn't matter. Who's going to pay? He admits that he doesn't know how it's going to be paid for. Listen, socialism has failed in every country that it's been attempted. And you need to smell the coffee and realize that. On the flip side, listen to this. The United States has been the greatest, single, most unique experiment in man's liberty and freedom on the face of the earth. Last time I checked, there was 618 billionaires in the United States. More billionaires in the US, 618, than any other place on earth. What do those billionaires do? They own many, many companies that employ many, many tens of thousands of people. The more successful they are, the more successful the millionaires are. The more successful the millionaires are, the more successful the middle class becomes. The more successful the middle class is, the less lower class exist. Why? Because success pulls people up. Socialism keeps people down. Do you think for a moment that on your iPhone, for example, or your Samsung, or whatever you're using, Was that engineered and invented by someone in a free country or in a socialistic, communistic country? Why do you think, for example, the device that you're using to view this momentary conversation we're having is a device that was created in a free country? Socialism, communism does nothing but copy, rob, and steal from creative nations. What creative nations are those? Free nations, free trade nations, nations where people like, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, people like that, Elon Musk, they've got the ability to think freely and to actually put things together and make billions. What's wrong with that? Does that bother you? If it bothers you, then it's probably because you're envious. If it bothers you, it's probably because you're jealous. Listen, why don't you get rid of that thinking? Stop listening to this campaign of socialism and find out which one's going to do the best for you. And stop looking for free things. Most free things are junk. You should know that. And then I want to ask you this. As you grow up, where do you want to live? What do you like? You want to live by the lake? You want to live in the mountains? You want to live by the ocean? How are you going to do that? Socialism's not going to let you do that. Hey, how about this? What do you want to drive? You want to drive the Metrolink for the rest of your life? You want to take the public transportation on a date? Or do you want to own a car? Do you want to own a truck? Do you want to drive a Porsche someday? Guess what? You can do that. It's a free country. Don't settle for handouts. It'll make you lazy. It'll make you dumb. It'll dumb you down. And you'll be, listen, most importantly, your life, your soul will be sucked out of your very existence. You will have no creativity. You'll have no passion. You'll have no reason to get out of bed. Why should you? The bozo that you elected as a socialist is just going to send you $500 a month. Make it work. And you'll just settle back. And you'll make it work. And you'll have no existence. You'll wake up someday to be an old man with nothing. And that's not the way God intended it to be. I want you to think, and I want you to learn a little bit about world history and find out that you're sitting right now in the most prosperous, the most wonderful nation for opportunity and for invention. And don't you think that's worth fighting for? I hope that you have a change of mind and that you vote for President Donald Trump, who his record has proven unlike any other president in history. Do the numbers. Go look and see. Creating more jobs, more opportunities for you to be someone in this nation. So go ahead and be someone. Be the person God created you to be, and not someone that some politician wants you to be.